Dick Weber and Don Carter. And Dick Weber, after picking up 116 pins as a result of his 66-pin victory and one Peterson point worth 50 pins for the win, now trails Don Carter, the leader, the first-place man, by 82 sticks. It will take 83 to beat him. Carter on 9. Oh, sir. 7 pin left. All right, what does it take Don Carter to win? What does it take Dick Weber to beat him? Don Carter leading by 82 pins. Actual pinfall after the 7 pin. And has it for a spare, giving Don Carter that mark. But remember that if Dick Weber wins this game, he picks up a Peterson point or 50 pins, so needing 83 to win. If he wins, he must win by 33 pins, and that could give it to him. Is he equal to it? Possibly. Possibly. He'd be starting on 10, finishing on 9. Dick Weber's first shot. No, sir. 2-4-5 left. As it is, no count will be lost, this being his first ball, and he will be no worse than even with a spare. 32 sticks. He must win by 32 sticks to tie, by 33 pins to win. After the 2-4-5. And has it. All right. So, Dick Weber with a spare, Don Carter with a spare. They're even for the game. Dick Weber needs 33 pins to win. See the Peterson points, 303.25 to 301.43. Giving an 82-pin edge to Don Carter, but remember 50 pins for winning a game would cut that to a 32-pin edge, which means Dick Weber must beat him by 33 pins in order to become the 16th annual National Individual Match Game champion. On 9. Come on! Oh, 7 pin left. Herein is a story with this fellow. He led the qualifying round, but in the last day of qualifying, in his first game, the third frame, as I recall, his middle or lift finger was strained as the ball left it and swelled up so badly it was a question if he would be able to enter the finals. That's it for a spare. Dick Weber dropping a pin in count, 19 through the first and a spare. Don Carter with 1 through the first and nothing going. A possibility of picking up 1 stick, maybe 11, which would mean that then it would take 44 to beat him. Don Carter on 10. If he can keep filling those frames, he's in pretty good shape. Sweeper action. All right. Don Carter then with 20 through the first and a strike. Dick Weber 19 through the first and a spare. Don Carter leading by 1 pin for this game. And now it will take 34 to beat him. In case you just tuned in, Marion Ladewig won the women's division for the 6th time she has triumphed in the 8 years the women have been entered. Don Carter on 9. Oh, boy. Typical Carter strike. 20 through the first and a double to 19 through the first and a spare. And now Don Carter leads by 11 pins for this game. And it will take 44 to beat him. Wow. What is all the shouting about? Well, the winner's purse here is worth $4,000, runner-up $2,000. This in itself is only money. On 10. Holy mackerel. A 7-10 split. Boy, the biggest possible railroad you can get. Dick Weber, who had a ball re-drilled by Chuck Hamilton, who very nearly made the finals here, to take the strain off his middle or lift finger so that he could bowl with his second and fourth fingers. Ooh, almost. Those are live cushions. And almost, but not quite. And he's open with 46 through the third and nothing going. And Don Carter could lead him. Could lead him here by 34 sticks, which would mean that Dick would then need 67 to win. Boy, that's a tremendous margin to try to overcome. About all you can do is hope. On 9. Oh, sir, too late. And the 4-pin is the answer there. Dick Weber, 26 years old, 5'9", 118. Born and raised in Indianapolis, now lives in St. Louis, having moved there, 1955, to shoot with the Bucks. Started to bowl 11 years ago. Puts it down for his spare. All right. Then 46 through the third in the spare against 20 through the first and a double. Dick Weber probably trailing by 34 here and by 67 for the match. Don Carter up on 10. Oh, 8 pin, little light. Well, what do you say? Did he throw it out there? What is he thinking? He's probably thinking of a lot of things. One thing he might very well be thinking is to give it a little room, as they say. Give it room so he doesn't get up on that head pin and run the possibility of a railroad, because as he stands here, it would take a rail to beat him. And that's it. Filling those frames, this is his assignment. 69 through the third in the spare to 46 through the third in the spare. He leads, as you see, by 23 pins for the game, and it will now take 36 to beat him. Here's something new to look for wherever you bowl, fans. The Brunswick Electric Air Hand Dryer. It replaces germ-laden towels with clean, fresh air. You see it used here. Really a great idea. Try it soon. Boy, that one was buried, wasn't it? Wow. Gives him 89 through the fourth, and that strike to Dick Weber's 46 through the third and the spare. Dick trailing by 23 here and by 56 for the match, and he'll have to strike to equal. Up on 10. And does, and matches, and it is not beyond reach yet, but it's getting to be a long haul. 66 through the fourth and the strike to 89 through the fourth and the strike. Still he trails by 23 for the game, and it will take 56 to win. Dick Weber, who shot in that tremendous match game, championship game, in which they beat the Stros, and in which he was a high man with an average of 224 plus over 24 games. Last year they did it. 9. That's it! All right. They're down. 66 through the fourth and a double to 89 through the fourth and a single strike. Still 23 away for the game, and it will take 56 for him to win. That's a lot to pick up on Don Carter, but it has been done. Mr. Carter knows as well as anyone that his opponent, Dick Weber, is a fellow who can just run away and hide. On 10. Oh, boy. Not if he keeps doing that. Not if he keeps doing that. A double 89 through the fourth means that he continues to lead by the 23 sticks you see there for the game, and it will still take 56 pins to beat him. And with, as you see, 4 frames left in which to get them, it's going to take some doing. Well, take a look at him. He's been a great one. As great as probably any of us have ever seen. On 9. Right in there. Right in there. Ori's Turkey to give him 119 through the fifth and a double. Dick Weber with 66 through the fourth and a double. Still trailing by 23 for the game and still needing 56 to win. This is the last one. They don't play anymore after this one. Turkey for Dick Weber, 96 through the fifth and a double to 119 through the fifth and a double. Still he trails by 23 for the game and needs 56 to win. Dick Weber on 9. Five left. Boy, that doesn't help. This is the boy who, in that National Match Game Championships against the Strohs, in 24 games, totaled 53.81, the second highest in the history of the event. That's it. All right, for his spare. But that spare could be a costly affair with 144 through the seventh and a spare, to 119 through the fifth and a double to work on. He could be down as much as 35 for this game, which would mean that he would then need 68 to win. And Mr. Carter, standing right here, can win it if he bowls 205. And the way he's going, it looks as though he's going to, isn't it? 149 through the sixth and 2 to work on. 144 through the seventh and a spare. He can be leading by 35. Friends, if you'll pardon the pun, here's Brunswick's handy answer to the old towel problem. Handy answer, that is. The Brunswick Electric Air Hand Dryer. Instead of unhealthy, dirty towels, you dry your hands with clean, fresh air. Look for it at your favorite lanes. Oh, sir. 258 left against Don Carter. Mr. Carter probably knows that a 205 or better will get him in also, as you see him figuring score here. And it isn't going to take much shooting from here on in to get it. He's just about wrapped it up. 193 will do it. 258, and on that open, he's still going to do it. 193 would do it for him. In spite of the error, he has 204, and Mr. Carter is your new champion. It's just a matter of wrapping it up. One of the truly great shooters, Dick Weber, who gave it a good try. On 10. 10 pin left. Boy. Look at him blow on that thumb. There is the Achilles heel of the bowler in this 100-game grind for the men, 56 for the women. This is what you see. Getting Novocaine injections, almost anything to dull the pain. After the 10. And has it. All right. For his spare, 163 through the eighth and a spare. Don Carter with 204 through the ninth and nothing going. And a possible lead of 21 sticks here through 9 frames. And a necessity for 54 to beat him, which, as you see, is no longer possible. Dick Weber, oddly enough, has such a sensitive thumb, in spite of all the bowling that he does, that he cannot shoot a 10-game set without having trouble, except for this thumb guard that gives him the possibility. Ah! Gee, that was good enough to get that 10 pin. Well, it was a good run for Dick Weber. Led the qualifying elimination for the cash money that went with that. He will take away $2,000 here as his runner-up money after the 10 pin. And has it. 182 through the ninth, and a 202 top possibility if he can get the full count. Don Carter with a 204 through the ninth and a 234 top possibility. Don Carter, the winner of $4,000 when he buttoned this up, and possible contracts equaling somewhere around $25,000 for the year. That's it. All right, Dick Weber with a 202. And a real good try at it. Dick started out in 16th, last place when he had that middle finger trouble, moved to 11th, then 8th, 5th, 4th, 3rd, 4th, 3rd, and now 2nd. Now Don Carter. Ah, 10 pin left, but it doesn't make any difference now. All he's doing now is bowling for the record, the all-time average, in which he is second, runner-up to Bill Lillard, who holds that all-time average. Don Carter started out in first place, the first squad, dropped to 5th, to 6th, moved back to 3rd, 2nd, 3rd, 2nd, and has never been below 2nd, moved into first place in the last squad. And has it. 204 through the ninth and a spare 224 tops. If he can get it, it would take 33 pins to beat him, and as you see, they're not going to get any 33 or anywhere close to it. Don Carter, who was runner-up to Eddie Lubansky and finally beat Eddie Lubansky in a position round just before we went on here, that happened to be the luck of the draw. And there you have it. Don Carter. Teammate Tommy Hennessy congratulating him. Eddie Lubansky to the left. And Dick Weber, who battled in for runner-up honors. Tommy Hennessy was battling Eddie Lubansky to try to keep him away from Dick Weber. We haven't had an opportunity to figure these points to know whether or not Dick did manage to stay ahead of him and to wind up in second place. Lubansky won his last match, and it is possible he might have finished third. There is your champion, Don Carter. We will be back with the presentation to him in just a matter of moments, but first of all, we would like to have this word on the subject of Brunswick. From Brunswick, #1 name in bowling, the newest and finest automatic pin setter ever built. Brunswick Automatic with magic brain. Strikes or spares, it thinks for itself. In a setup like this, the deadwood is cleared away, remaining pins reset in the exact spot where they were left standing, and you're ready for your spare. Everything, including ball return, is automatic, developed after 20 years experimental research. This rugged, dependable Brunswick Automatic is designed for efficiency, easy to operate and maintain. Endorsed by such champions as Bill Lillard, Steve Nagy, Buzz Fazio, and many others. Get more fun out of bowling with this faster, quieter Brunswick Automatic, the finest pin setter ever built. Look for it in lanes from coast to coast. From Brunswick, #1 name in bowling. And so you have seen the winning of the 16th annual All-Star Tournament. The World Series of Bowling, staged here at the Chicago Coliseum for the National Individual Match Game Championships, won in the women's division by Marion Ladewig, the 6th time in the 8 years that the women have competed that Mrs. Ladewig has been so crowned, and now won here in an unprecedented 3rd time by Don Carter of St. Louis. 4 men have won this great classic 2 times running. They were Andy Varapapa, the first man ever to win it in 2 successive years, Don Carter, the second man ever to win it in 2 successive years, Junie McMahon, and Connie Schwegler. Now, in an unprecedented drive, Don Carter has won it for the 3rd time. Here to make the presentation to him is the president of the Bowling Proprietors Association of America, Mr. Frank B. Lacey of Albany, California, with his check, also the trophy, and Mr. William B. King, the secretary of this tournament and also of the Bowling Proprietors Association of Greater Chicago. They will make that presentation in just a moment after, if you will indulge us, those of you in the stand, with this message from our sponsor. All right, we are ready to go, and here to make the presentation of the first check is the president of the Bowling Proprietors Association of America, Mr. Frank B. Lacey of Albany, California. Sir, will you step over a little closer here and do the honors?
Don, 2 years ago I had the pleasure of congratulating you on winning this. The mark of a champion is the mark of to be able to overcome adversity. Through an unfortunate handicap last year, you found it unable to make it 4 in a row. But you certainly came back this year and showed the world that you were a champion. The Bowling Proprietors Association of America is proud to have you as their champion.
Thank you, sir.
I'm sure that this will help a little bit in salving the wounds of the sore fingers that have resulted from this marathon race.
Thank you. Thank you very kindly.
The check, incidentally, that Don is about to pocket here is for $2,000, and there will be another one. Mr. Lacey, will you continue?
I know that also in your Hall of Fame you'll always be proud of the fact that you are probably the first man in the history of the All-Star to win this trophy for the 3rd time. It gives me a great pleasure to present it with you.
Thank you.
Can you hold it?
I think so, Joe. Just about.
Thank you, Mr. Lacey. Mr. Lacey, president of the Bowling Proprietors Association of America. Now, the guiding genius of not only this tournament, but many, many before it, the secretary of the tournament committee, secretary of the Bowling Proprietors Association of Greater Chicago, which conducted this great tourney with added money, Mr. King.
John, it's a real pleasure for me to present this check in the amount of $2,000 added money created by the Special Prize Fund of the Bowling Proprietors Association of Greater Chicago. And to the remarks of Frank Lacey, I want to say I echo them sincerely from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you.
The best of luck.
Thank you.
$4,000 richer and the trophy. Have you anything to say for posterity?
Well, very little, Joe. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all the fans. They've really been wonderful here. And in particular, the group from St. Louis that came down here to give me moral support. Without them, I don't think I could have made it, Joe.
Thank you, Don Carter. Let's hear it for Don Carter. That is it. We will see you next week. Till then, Joe Wilson, good night, everyone.
The finals of the 16th Annual All-Stars Tournament, direct from the Chicago Coliseum, have been...